Hey guys, so this video will show you how to carry out partial match searches within your VLOOKUP function by using wildcard characters such as the asterisk, question mark and tilde. So we have this table here which contains the manager names and the bonuses that each should be paid. As you can see, the manager name consists of three components, which is the first name, the middle name and the last name. In the first type of lookup that we will be doing, we want to look up the first name of the manager and return the corresponding bonus. In order to do that, we have to use the asterisk wildcard. So what the asterisk wildcard essentially represents is any number of characters and any type of character. So it's any number of characters and any type of characters. That's what the asterisk represents. So we have to incorporate that within our VLOOKUP function. As we are just looking up the first name, we don't care about any of the characters that appear after the first name. So we don't care about the second name or the surname or the last name. We just care about matching the first name and returning the corresponding bonus. So what that effectively means is that when we do our VLOOKUP function, we need to combine the first name with an asterisk. As we don't care about all the characters appearing after the first name, the asterisk must be placed after the first name, or in other words, after the cell reference which contains the first name that we're looking up. So how do we do that in practice? We type in the VLOOKUP function, we then select the lookup value, which is the first name. Because we don't care about the surname or the middle name appearing after the first name, we have to include the asterisk after the first name, i.e. after this cell reference. So we join it using the ampersand, then we enclose the wildcard within double quotation marks because it's a text character. We then have to select our table array, which is this. We then have to fix it so that when we drag our formula down, the table reference does not change. Column index number essentially is a column which contains the output that we're looking for. It contains the result of our VLOOKUP, which in this case is column 2 of this table because that contains the bonus figures. So column 2. And we've got two choices between the exact match and approximate match. Because we want to match exactly the manager first name with the manager first name in this table, we have to use an exact match, which will be either false, or we can enter in 0. We close the parentheses, we enter, and we return 2,500, which is the bonus that is to be paid to Mark. We then drag this formula down, and we can see the table populates with the correct bonus figures for both Daniel, who gets 3,000, and David, who gets 500. The next VLOOKUP that we will be doing is looking up the last name. This is essentially the reverse of looking up the first name, which we did previously. So because we only care about the last name, which is the surname, and we don't care about the middle names or the first name, we need to incorporate the asterisk before the last name, or in other words, before the cell reference which contains the last name. So we do equals VLOOKUP as before, but then we begin by putting in the asterisk and closing it within double quotation marks. We then use ampersand to join it to the cell reference. We select our table array and we fix that reference using F4. We then select the column index number, which is 2, and again the range lookup is an exact match, so it's 0. We enter it, and again we return the right bonus for Rooney, which is the surname of Mark. We then drag this down, and again the table populates with the correct bonus figures. So Daniel Giles Roberts gets 3,000 and David Harry Thompson gets 500. So the next type of lookup that we will be doing is looking up the middle name. So in this case, we don't care about the first name and we don't care about the last name. We don't care about the characters that appear before the middle name, and we don't care about the characters that appear after the middle name. So in order to perform this lookup, we need to use two wildcard asterisks, one before the cell reference which contains the middle name, and one after the cell reference which contains the middle name. So we enter our VLOOKUP function. We then have to insert the wildcard asterisk before the cell reference which contains the middle name. We We then select the cell reference containing the middle name, and then we have to include a wildcard asterisk after the cell reference which has the middle name. We then select our table, we fix it, column index number will be 2, and the range lookup will be an exact match, which is 0. We enter and we return the right bonus, which is 2,500. We drag down this formula, and the table, the column, it populates with the correct bonus for each middle name. So Mark John Rooney gets 2,500 bonus, Daniel Giles Roberts gets 3,000, and David Harry Thompson gets 500 bonus. So next we'll move on to the question mark wildcard. So what's the main difference between the asterisk wildcard and the question mark wildcard? Well, both the asterisk and the question mark wildcard will represent any type of character. The main difference is that with the asterisk, it represents any number of character, whereas with the question mark, it represents a single character. So if for instance, you're looking up a value and say there are 3 characters within the table which can take on any character type, then you have to enter in 3 separate question marks to represent each character, whereas if you were to use the asterisk, you just put in 1 asterisk and it would cover any number of characters. The best way to understand this is by doing an example. So if we enter in our VLOOKUP function, we are basically going to look up the invoice. This is basically an invoice table, and it's got all different invoice numbers and their corresponding invoice values. So we want to look up the invoice number and return the corresponding invoice value. So in our table we've got INV as a prefix to the invoice number, whereas we just want to look up the number alone without having to enter in the INV physically. So in order to do that using the question mark wildcard, we need to enter in 3 separate question marks to represent each character within INV. So as the INV prefix is before the invoice number, we have to enter in the question mark wildcard before the invoice number. So we enter in 3 question marks enclosed within double quotation marks, as the question marks are a text character. Then we have to join it to our cell reference which contains the invoice number. Then we have to select our table array. Column index number will be 2, as it is the second column in this table which contains the value which we want the VLOOKUP to return. And the range lookup, we want an exact match, so it will be 0. And then we enter, and there we have the right invoice value being returned for invoice number 10, which is 1,000. So if we were to change it to invoice number 8, it changes to 12,000, which is correct. So we don't have to enter in the INV physically. Of course, you could have also used the wildcard character here to also perform the same function, but I just wanted you to see how the question mark character works and how it differs from the asterisk wildcard, because with the question mark it represents a single character, so you have to enter in a question mark for every character which can take on any value or form, whereas with the asterisk you just have to put in a single asterisk and that will cover any number of characters. Oh yeah, and this column heading should actually read invoice number. The final wildcard that we will look at is the tilde wildcard. So what the tilde wildcard effectively does is that it nullifies the impact of the asterisk and the question mark wildcard. In order to better understand what that means, it's best to do an example. So in this situation, we've got a table here which shows employees and their associated ages, and we want to look up an employee here and get the correct age. Well, we've got an employee here called Mitch Asterisk, and that value, that label, also exists within this table. So we've got Mitch Asterisk and his age is 20. If we were to run a VLOOKUP, Excel will incorrectly interpret asterisk as being used as a wildcard. So what that means is that it will return the age of Michael instead, because Michael will fit that criteria of MICH asterisk, so age of 25 will be returned. So to demonstrate, if I do my VLOOKUP function, we select cell reference E3, which contains Mitch asterisk. There's our table. Column number 2, exact match 0. If I enter, an age of 25 is being returned, which is incorrect because we don't want Michael's age, we want Mitch asterisk's age. In order to get around this solution, we have to insert a tilde character just before the asterisk, or if you're using a question mark, just before the question mark. What the tilde does is that it forces the VLOOKUP function to treat the asterisk as a literal character to be included within the VLOOKUP search. So to demonstrate, if I were to put the tilde just before the asterisk, we get the correct age of 20. However, in certain situations, you will be having people using this spreadsheet who might forget to put the tilde before the asterisk. So they will look for, okay, I'm looking for Mitch asterisk. They will just enter in Mitch asterisk, enter, and that returns Michael's age, which is incorrect. Another better way to resolve this problem is to use the substitute function. So how do we use it? Well, we go to our lookup value, and then we have to substitute. So the text that we are referring to is the lookup value text, and then within that text we want to substitute the old text, which in this case is the asterisk. We have to enclose it within double quotation marks, and we want to substitute it with the new text, which is tilde asterisk. Close it within double quotation marks, and then we close brackets. And when we press enter, it returns the correct age. So next time, so if I were to enter Michael, I get an age of 25. Now if I enter Mitch asterisk, it returns the correct age of 20. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, if you learned anything useful from it, please like it, please subscribe, and leave any comments in the comment section below, and I will endeavour to respond to them as soon as possible. Thank you for listening.